Hey everybody, it's Geekopolis here. Let's see. I am here to inform you of the great news. Star Wars is continuing. Yay! I'm sure we're all extremely thrilled to see the riveting and life-draining experience that this will inevitably become. Here we go again. So Disney has recently released their newest, I'm gonna call it a saga. Their newest, era that they're going to be focusing on. Now, what I had hoped for was a complete retcon of the. What I meant to say was a story far in the future, away from all of the nonsense and the bullshit. Because yes, they're going back in time instead of forward, which I fundamentally disagree with on a storytelling level. Um, Prequels and anthologies can be interesting if you have competent writers, which Disney so far has shown that their creative teams are less than capable of delivering interesting stories. Well, maybe interesting is not the right word. Consistent, compelling, you know, respectful stories. When I say respectful, I mean to the actual lore and history, not the diversity humping that I'm sure is going to be more than infected in this upcoming little era that they're going to be trotting out soon. And I mean that quite literally. One of their objectives in their a little posted board or whatever was, I should mention, it's called Star Wars: The High Republic. I'm gonna have to be high just to fucking get through this shit. Now, apparently, one of the most important things to the development team is, this is going to shock you, diversity. Yep, there it is, the old buzzword that kills any fucking semblance of enjoyment I might have. And no, it's not because I hate diversity, I just hate what diversity has become to represent. It has come to represent that your physical um, appearance, your phenotypes that you cannot control, that you are simply born with, somehow dictate how much of a good person you can be, how heroic, and how, what's the correct word, inclusive you can truly be to audiences. Because character is not something that's universal. There is no such thing as a universal good. Kindness, compassion, empathy, magnanimous. None of that is any, you know, universality to it. None of that can apply to a large and, yes, diverse group of people. No, it has to boil down to, does this person have the same skin color as me? Do they fuck the same gender that I like to fuck? Are they politically in line with my values? Yeah, no. This is the whole thing with the diversity thing, and I'm just going to go on a little bit of a rant here because considering that this is something that is important to a development team of fucking Star Wars, is a little bit irritating to me. For any franchise, really. Anytime I see the word diversity as something that's important instead of irrelevant, yeah, I'm gonna be a little fucking annoyed. And that is simply because when you start prioritizing things like diversity over the story, over the characters, over the world, you get sloppy shit. Like, I don't know, Terminator Dark Fate? It had no real story or interest in telling a compelling narrative. It just wanted to show, hey, look, we have 3 powerful, strong female characters. Ugh. Don't get me wrong, you can not be so diversity heavy and still pump out shit. I mean, look at The Last Jedi. Granted, it has its Holdo moments, which are cringy to watch. But, other than that, it's not too heavily riddled with the whole diversity is important, look at how virtuous I am message. And this was, again, never the problem, really, beforehand. Before this whole, everybody just got woke or whatever, they would just put characters in the story and be done with it. They didn't parade it around like it was some big thing. When Predator 2 had the main character was a black guy, nobody gave a shit. When the main protagonist of Alien was a woman, nobody gave a shit. So why does it matter now? No one. It's so stupid. And those are better stories than we have now. I mean, compare Predator 2 to the more recent and more diverse Predators. Not even close. Or Alien to fucking Alien's Covenant. Or Prometheus even. It's just an embarrassment in comparison. And this comes down to, again, the 2 reasons. One, being so focused on having the most diverse cast you can do and be so inclusive. And, of course, the issue with continuing franchises, the possibility of things getting stale, which has happened with Star Wars in particular. They tried to reset the universe, the soft reboot style, with Episode 7. Episode 8 just said, fuck it, we're doing what we want. Fuck the characters, fuck the lore, and fuck the history. And Episode 9 said, I don't know what the hell we're doing. Just throw everything in the kitchen sink, and hopefully that blended up mess turned out to be somewhat comprehensive. It didn't. So, with all that being said, let's continue on to the High Republic. These are just some of the reasons I'm not very optimistic, by the way, of this High Republic era. Some of the art, as I'm going to be showing on here, looks nice. It does look nice. But, again, something can look nice and be absolutely terrible. Which is kind of the whole point of this. Am I interested in the era? A little, but again, it's one of those things where, like I said earlier, I'm not big on going back in time for the simple fact that I know what is going to happen in the future, and it's like the sword of Damocles just like hanging over me the whole time I'm watching this. I'm like, you guys can save the universe or save the galaxy all you want, you can do all these heroic things. Eventually it's going to come down to Rey lightning, reflecting Force lightning back at Palpatine to save the galaxy. All those Jedi are going to die, or their descendants are going to die, their students are going to die. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference. That's why I was hoping to be in the far future, away from anything that they can kill, because they still have Yoda in this, because it's only 200 years ago. He's 800 years old in the prequels. Oh, fuck. Maz Kanata is 1,000. She's gonna fucking be in it too, isn't she? Oh, God. Again, I have no optimism for this blatant horseshit. And it seems like the team that they've put together, they had this pitch meeting or whatever at Skywalker Ranch, 18 months or something ago, before the Rise of Skywalker even came out. I think it was around about the time Solo was still being talked about, or had come out, and people were just shocked by how much it tanked, and they're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now? So they came up with this new High Republic era, which conceptually may have actually saved Kathleen Kennedy's job. So that's we're already behind in the wins here. But I don't know. It can be interesting. It can be cool. Will it? Maybe. Doubtful. Will they kill the characters that we all know and love? And ruin the universe even more? Absolutely. See, here's the thing. At least with Rise of Skywalker, as shitty as a movie it was, I feel like it at least tried, which gives me some bit of hope. But they fundamentally didn't understand what makes Star Wars good, why people loved it, and that is exemplified in the fact that they brought back the fucking Emperor. If they would have just not brought back the Emperor, and Snoke came back like Darth Maul with like fake legs or some shit, yeah, like just like half robot Snoke would have been so much better than this shit. The Emperor. I mean, come the fuck on. That and then the planet destroying lasers on Star Destroyers. Like, come on. What is this, Dragon Ball Z? Everybody can just blow up a planet now? You kind of ruin the effect. Like, this technology exists now. I fucking hate this shit. But again, point being, at least I felt they cared enough to be like, hey, let's do something for the fans. Even though they misunderstood what the fans wanted and they made it worse. And when I say made it worse, I mean they piled on the situation. It's not as bad as The Last Jedi. Last Jedi's ruined fucking everything. It's by far the worst. It's not even close. It's as for Rise of Skywalker more contrived though, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. It doesn't break as much though. But again, so with a prequel, I'm going to be warning you, or yeah, it is a prequel, not the prequels. You know, the real Star Wars. This is a prequel to the prequels. There's things that now are broken with the universe because of what Disney did. Even with them trying to be kind to the fans, or, you know, quote unquote be kind to the fans, you know, give them fan service or whatever the hell. At least that's my best faith interpretation of what they did. Even though I know that the behind the scenes was a clusterfuck, and there was a lot of studio meddling, even though I don't think JJ had a really great vision, all that, well, you know, planned out in the first place, but still. The whole point that I'm making here is, am I interested in seeing what they're going to do? Yes. Am I optimistic that it'll be good? No. Do I think they will ruin the lore even more? Yes. Is it going to piss me off? Absolutely. Will it make for pretty decent content? We'll see. Until that point comes, let me know what any of you guys thought about the announcement of Star Wars The High Republic. I look forward to seeing what any of you have to say, and really just anything would be interesting, because again, I have mixed feelings about this. So let me know in the comments below, and if you did like the video, please do consider subscribing and giving it a like, sharing it around. It'd be swell. And thank you to everybody who came this far. God bless. Out.